Didn't we say how cute Dr. West was with the end when she was sort of standing near him and he realized that he was going over? Did you see that at the end of it? Where he's like, am I going on too long? And she went, yeah, a little bit. And he went, okay, I'm sorry. Like, it was just cute. I don't know. I find him.
Well, he could speak.
I find him so charming, but he realized that, okay, he's got a rap.
Yeah. Colin, please cue up the Instagram video of the march.
Free Palestine! Free
People love seeing the
all
Irish.
over the world. No, you know what I loved
Irish.
seeing the most was the Yemeni. The Yemeni in the streets by numbers that just looked almost like ridiculous, chanting that something along the lines of, you want a war? We don't care. We're like, they are just, see, those are people that are resilient. And that is something that countries like the US and the UK and even like Saudi Arabia, you can't beat them. That's why it doesn't work. You can't beat those people.
We have to eliminate Hamas. How are you doing that?
You can't.
How are you doing it? Unless you end the occupation, it will just grow.
And what's amazing is if you did that, it would all stop.
All stop.
It would all stop.
Immediately.
Yes, you will have outliers and crazy people doing stupid shit
Always
because
will.
there's always going to be that. But it would just all stop.
You know, it's kind of like people forget that the Crusades were started by the Christians and the Muslims were like, okay, well, you started it, but we're going to finish it. And they did. You see, history is always written it's always written from the perspective of those who are in control. When anybody talks about the Crusades, yeah, they may talk about the fact that the Muslims won, but they never really want to address just how significant that was. The role of what the Crusades ultimately represented in terms of the growth of Islam at an exponential level as a result of the Crusades. And here we are today, millennia later, literally, and we're looking at a circumstance where people really think that you can just kill people. You can kill enough people to convince them that having an ethno-state is acceptable. The idea that South Africa speaks up says everything you need to know, and you know that they're sick.
You can try to discredit them all you want. Every frigging international human rights legal expert has read that 84-page petition and says it's pretty perfect.
Not a lot. So, really, this is where the stupidity.
Yes, actually, we can talk about that, and we can talk about that absolutely. Do people get rowdy and stuff like that? Yeah, sure. And you know what? Most of the time, I have to say, like, I'm always averse to that. Like, I really am not. Like, to me, getting aggressive doesn't solve the problems. But I have to tell you, Metal, as someone who is so enraged and so angry that I can't even see straight. Like, I am losing my mind with this. So the fact that these people are shaking the gate of a house that, by the way, we own
technically,
okay, and that we do, and they're so angry because the people aren't listening. Nobody got hurt. You want to focus on that thing of that rage. If there were ever a time for us to feel that kind of rage, it is right now. It is right now. When I see people outside people's houses like Blinken and Schumer and they're chanting and waking them up, I think that we should be outside those people's houses as soon as you're allowed to, based on noise ordinances pertaining to their neighbors, because there is no need to be disturbing their neighbors. But those people in power positions should not have a moment's peace in public.
Oh, I don't disagree.
Not a moment's peace. I think that you should be talking to them out in every public location that those people, we need to make their lives so uncomfortable and unpleasant that they maybe get that, yeah, maybe I should be answering to the people I actually work for. So I get it. They knocked down the fence.
This second march should be a clear indicator as much as anything. And remember, corporate media is not going to cover this. They may acknowledge that it happened, but they're not going to show you the depth of what it really means. It means that you can't win this. The people every day are recognizing that the momentum is on their side, the momentum that a generational change is actually occurring right now. And there is nothing you're going to do to stop it. You're just going to prolong it. That's all you're doing. And while you prolong it, tens of thousands of more innocent people will be killed as a result. And I hope you are comfortable living with that.
I want to, and here's the thing about it when people are getting violent. I would like to say that it didn't start this way. So, and it didn't start this way with October 7th. So you don't like violence. I don't like violence. It's really unfortunate.
I like ultra
Some people like violence. But no, like that's not the preferred method, okay? The preferred method was going to the International Criminal Court. The preferred method was going to the United Nations. The preferred method was doing nonviolent marches. Oh yeah, wait, they did all of those things. They did all of those things. And Israel and the United States made sure they couldn't get anywhere with it. They did all of those things. Then there was boycott, divest, and sanction, which is nonviolent movement from the core of Palestine. And we've criminalized it essentially in this country. So you've taken away every nonviolent means of resistance. What do you think is going to happen? And I got to tell you, it is going to happen here too. Ripping down the fence will be the least of their problems. And if they have to be evacuated for their safety, then maybe they should consider how they're treating their people.
We're going to play you a clip of the one speech that truly mattered, and that is, of course, of Dr. Cornel West.
Word go forth here and now that we are going to hold up the blood-stained banner and the tear-soaked cause of our precious Palestinian brothers and sisters. Not just in Gaza and West Bank, but all around the world. And it is in the name of truth. And the condition of truth is to allow suffering to speak. It's in the name of justice. And justice is what love looks like in public. Yes, it's indeed true that Brother Martin Luther King Jr. would have been 95 years old on Monday. And he, like myself, comes from a tradition of a great black people who have been hated and terrorized and traumatized for 400 years, but we still here fighting, we still here swinging. So I'm here to let my precious Palestinian brothers and sisters and siblings know that when I think of where I come from, for every generation we have love warriors who were willing to live and who were willing to die. Martin Luther King Jr. said, I'd rather be dead than afraid. I'd rather be a corpse than a coward. We need courage.
I love him.
Talk about powerful.
I love him. That is why, and therein is why I will be happy to be a monthly supporter of Cornel West for as long as he wants to travel around and speak like that.
You know, the way it used to work in the olden days, because those days existed at one time, when it came to the pressures of what it was like dealing with the Great Depression, and no presidency is perfect, even when they get it right, which usually only happens once every probably 2 generations or so. FDR had a heavy dose of influence from Eugene Debs, presidential nominee for the Socialist Party 3 times, I believe, or 4 times it was, and the Communist Party. You have to remember that at the time, and this is going back to 1932, that at that time, when the population in the United States was maybe a third of what it is today, you had 4 million that identified as socialists and over 1 million that identified as communist. So you can imagine how much of an influence that actually had when it came to a policy which is probably the most popular policy we have to this day in Social Security. You don't get things like that to pass without a heavy dose of influence from the left, the true left. And somebody like Cornel West, when you get a handful of, and listen, we respect the liberals that come in our chat, but we will respectfully disagree. This idea of, oh, Dr. West has to drop out because Trump is going to win. No, you need West in the race, because if he's not in the race, who the hell is pressuring the Democrats to do anything?
I want to address this because Metal's right. He says, Jen, that's the same argument January 6th rioters used. And you know what? If the January 6th rioters were enraged because their people were being genocided and nobody was listening, and they had been occupied for 75 years and they had that level of rage, maybe it wouldn't be as ridiculous as it was. But you're comparing apples and oranges, Metal. You're straw manning and being silly. Okay, we're talking about people that are being genocided, not people that are just angry that their president lost. Okay, big difference.
We need love and freedom in love. Don't let anybody lie on you and say that we here in the name of hatred. We don't hate anybody. We love Palestinians. We love oppressed people no matter where they are, any corner of the globe. You know you're enabling blowing up mosques in Gaza, blowing up churches in Gaza, blowing up places where Jesus himself was born. I'm a Christian. I'm a revolutionary Christian. I come out of the household of Irene and Clifton. I come out of Shiloh Baptist Church. I'm influenced by the Black Panther Party. Don't tell me that you can see what I see and call it meritless. We'll never put up with that. We'll never accommodate ourselves to that. And that's why we call it for more than a ceasefire. We want an end to the siege. We want an end to the occupation. We want Palestinians to live a life of dignity.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.